Hey everyone, this is a brief tarot message. So far I've just done short messages, but I'm hoping in the future to do somewhat longer messages, maybe like an hour or plus. But I guess I'm sort of just warming up and doing some different shorter formats to see. I kind of like to time myself because it's like just like that like sort of makes the energy more intense. I don't know if that makes sense. Like we get only the things we really need to know, all the messages we really need to know, because we only have a short amount of time. So this is just a general read. Today is Saturday, August 31st, 2019. Here where I am in Connecticut, in the United States, on the northeast coast. Yeah, so just going to do some general energies for the day. Okay. Got so far Observe, and this is like a deck. It's a mix of like 5 different decks, so it's like a cool mixture. And if you're interested in a private reading, you can direct message me on my Instagram, Crystal Messages Tarot Love, or you can email me at crystalmessagestarot@01@gmail.com. It's $60 for half an hour. We can do Skype chat or Facebook chat, or we can do. You can send me messages, questions, and I'll re-record it and send it to you. So, yeah. Okay, so we got a couple different kinds of cards here. Oh, I didn't even realize that these. Okay, so I have kind of a weird mishmash of things. So the first card that we got was. No, not even. Oh, we got Observe. And 1 and 2 makes the number 3. So I feel like that's like about, even though actually there's kind of a cool mirroring happening in this. So it's, well, you could think of it as 1, 2, 3. Anyway, I always think of that as being like, you can think of it as like the Trinity, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. But if you're not into Christian stuff, it's like the 3. Like, what am I trying to say? Like in a relationship, there's you, me, and the relationship, or father, mother, child, or anything kind of like that where 2 things come together. And it says observe. So there might be something in your life that you need to observe or take note of that you're not looking at. And sometimes when we take a step back, you can do that in a lot of ways. You can do that through journaling or writing, or talking to someone, or making art if you like art. Anyway, so there's something that you need to observe about how you're interacting with others, or how they're interacting with you. And also, I feel like this is a time of allowance right now, where we're trying, at least for today's Saturday, it's the weekend, this is a good time to be in allowance and not trying to force things to happen. So this is a good time to observe. Share the love, another 3. I didn't actually plan that or see that. So I feel like this is self-explanatory, just like sharing, maybe it's not, sharing yourself with others, which can, we all have different love languages, right? So that could mean a lot of things depending on how you express love, and depending on how you express how your person, what their love language is. Because sometimes we might be doing something nice for someone out of love, but they can't see it, that it's that. That's sort of what I'm getting with those cards. Brothers and Sisters. This is from, and these are from Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland. And this is Brother and Sisters. This is from Doreen Virtue's Unicorn deck. It says, to get along with others, see the love and the best within them. We have Leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. This is Rebecca Campbell. I just forget the names. something. Anyway, this is what they look like. They're very common cards. I wanted to say Ascension cards, but I don't think that's what they're called actually. Um, you go first. The universe will catch you. So I feel like something about what you're moving towards in your life right now has to do with getting along with others, sharing love that's within you, and maybe observing your nature, or what kind of relationships you build in your life. I don't know if that makes sense. But leaping also, like if we decide, I had this great poetry teacher in high school who was always like making these cool things happen. Like in her life, she was really young and just had this great energy. And she was like, oh, and then I went sailing in the Greek islands this summer, and just happened, and then I got this job, and she seemed like someone who's really allowing things into her life. And she quoted some poet, I'm not sure, but it was basically just was where you're great wanting and the universe is great wanting collide is where, that's your destiny. So thinking about what you want to happen, moving towards it, and just knowing that what it will come together. It's like in Abraham Hicks they call that filling in, the grid filling in. So I feel like I'm being called partially to record these messages because I'm obsessed with Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you follow them, but the philosophy, I guess today that was what I was listening to when I was on my walk with my dog, just about letting the grid fill in around you and having faith and sort of letting it go also. Like you have that desire, but sort of just like letting go of it. Well-deserved reward, and also the number 9. I see 9 as relating to hermit mode and endings, and also it's a card about interiority. We could relate it to the Virgo sign. Traditionally, that's what in tarot, number 9. The hermit is number 9, and it's. But then also we could talk about the 9th house in astrology, which is tradition. Religion, spirituality, higher thinking. I don't mean spirituality in a different way than other signs. All the signs are spiritual, but say the spirituality of Scorpio is more like about transformation and also like connecting with the dark depths of yourself, because it's the sign of the lizard turning to the eagle, or the scorpion also is a symbol. For the Sagittarius, the spirituality that we're talking about is about philosophy, higher thinking, and higher mind. I guess it's interesting that I brought up Scorpio because compared to Sag, Scorpio really holds on to things and it makes things emotional. I guess Sag is it's a fire sign, but I would see it as more of an intellectual sign, whereas not like Aquarius, who's once removed, not like Gemini, who's getting all the facts, but Sag is like seeing. It's like the purveyor, and this is a great picture for what I'm about to say. The purveyor of all that is like someone who's like awakened in their intellectuality is related to the spirituality. I don't know if that makes sense. That also Sagittarius, if you've ever met a Sagittarius, they're very funny often because they have like this sense of freedom in how they think about the world, and they can be very what am I trying to say? They can put their foot in their mouth because they're just sharing what they bluntly see of the world, whereas the spirituality in Scorpio, the sign before, is sort of using that spirituality for their own awakening, whereas and using it to transform. Whereas Sag uses the spirituality, intellectuality to make. It's almost if you have the image of the archer, they're shooting for truth, and the truth is sort of beyond their ego in a way that Scorpio and other signs that are spiritual or intellectual are not. Even though Sag can have an ego, anyway. So also, it's the house of luck and opportunity, expansion, and optimism. So You may have some strong Sag placements in your chart if you're watching this, if you're attracted to this message. I certainly do, and it's probably why I'm so called to talk about this, because it's a sign of higher learning and knowledge of the occult. Anyway, so a well-deserved reward. This is about some sort of like something you've been waiting for coming to you that could have to do with ninth house things, like maybe you're a teacher, and I see that as a sign. Sag is a sign of the teacher more than any other symbol. I mean, any other sign. Why do I say that? Because they're funny. They can make education. They have education and like heightening humanity as a spiritual and intellectual goal. So maybe something that's coming towards you has to do with an ending, since the 9 has to do with hermithood, going within yourself, and then also has to do with the higher mind. So this may be a financial reward, and it's probably a spiritual reward too, because often things that are spiritually rewarding are mirrored in our physical reality. So I don't know if that makes sense, but lead, and then the number 4. So I see 4 is relating to the earthly realm. The circle is the heavens, the square is the earth, and 4 is a number about being grounded in this earthly plane, and it can also be about so I want to talk about astrology. So we've got Aries, we've got Taurus, we've got Gemini, and then we've got Cancer. So the 4th house, it's about family. It's about history. It's about. It's funny that I mentioned the circle, because I didn't even realize there's a circle here. So I feel like this card could be about something coming together in a spiritual, just like that other card that we just got, spiritual and a physical way. Yeah. So something about these cards, I'm feeling like a theme of taking charge of your life in some way, and leaping. Also, it's also collaboration with the universe, and something about this has to do with sharing of yourself. So we got heal, and this is also the number 8, 1 and 7. I also see 8 as having to do with abundance and money. I see it having, it's the infinity, like it looks visually like the like an infinity sign. It's also, that's brilliant planning on terms of the universe, because the 8th house is Pluto, which is the sign of regeneration. So yeah, something about healing. And I mean, if we are thinking about astrology, Scorpios are the archetype of the wounded healer within the I'm a Scorpio within the astrology wheel. So there may be some deep healing taking place that's transformative in nature, and it may have to do with your abundance in this world. I mean, every house or every apartment I've lived in for the past couple of years, if you add up the numbers, they add up to 8. So for me, I always I take as a sign as the universe is taking care of me. I'm abundant where I am, and it's financial stability. It's a symbol of that for me. So straight from the words of a Scorpio, the mouth of a Scorpio. So we also got dolphin spirit, this and that are true, and the number 20, which in numerology would be the number 2. So this card is about, the dolphin is great symbolism. It's an animal that, echolocation, I guess I want to talk about that, and partnership, because the number 2. So we have this sign, we could think about Libras because partnership, but also 2 is Taurus, the 2nd house, our belongings, our earthly possessions, our how we know ourselves in the physical world. Some of these things might set up what we're talking about with this card, but also like, so we could think about telecommunication. Maybe there's someone, since they communicate in an unusual way, maybe there's someone that you're communicating with, not with echolocation, but with just in a different kind of way. I also get like something about the relationship is paradoxical, or is like a binary, or is dualistic. So like this is maybe things are great and things are terrible, or things are, you love them but it's not what we want. I don't know, this and that are true. It could mean like you thought that this person was done with you, but that's true, but also they still think about you, or vice versa. So we got forgiveness. So I was just listening to Wayne Dyer talk about forgiveness. This is like a great card because this is so law of attraction. So I was just listening to Wayne Dyer talk about forgiving his father, who, if you don't know Wayne Dyer, he's an excellent self-help writer and speaker. He passed away, but you can still sort of connect with his energy, I think, when you're listening to any of his material on YouTube or reading it. So he was talking about forgiving his father. He was talking about it with Oprah, who's also an amazing person to talk about with forgiveness when you look at her history and past. But they were talking about, had written this book. This is years ago. This book, I mean, I was watching it today, but it was recorded years ago. He was talking about forgiving his father, who abandoned their family. He and his brothers were born during the Depression, and or it sounded like the tail end of the Depression. And his mother couldn't support them because the father ran out on them. He never met his father. He went to see his grave years later as an adult. It was like a pauper's grave in a field, and he forgave him. And after this feeling of forgiveness came over his body, he gave up alcohol, he changed his lifestyle, he changed his diet, he became obsessed with Tao Te Ching. He gave up all his possessions for a year, and like his shoes and everything. And so there was something really transformative about, which we had the number 8 here, transformative about forgiveness. If you've ever been to a Reiki healer, they're going to be able to sense where in the body you're holding on to resentment or etc., anything like that. And those things can really build up over time. And usually, I mean, if you look at Louise Hay's A through Z list of things that, of metaphysical reasons for illnesses, cancer for her is about deep-seated anger that so I just think that's an interesting thing to bring up, just that the body stores when we can't forgive. It's almost like the body knows this is not the right way to be and stores it in a effed up way. So we got 3 of Pentacles. So just with all of that stuff, I feel like this all has to do with work and working with others. There's a strong theme of working with others. We got some cards before about brother and sister, people working together. Sharing your love. So something about working with others in a work situation. And I see this as like someone who has a temper problem, maybe you. You know, this is a masculine card, but we all have feminine and masculine within us. And this isn't a twin flame reading, but like something about, since I was just talking about anger with the forgiveness, something about positively harnessing your anger that could be like a negative is, if you can harness that in a positive way, you could use it to work with others. I don't know if that's making sense. I just want to get one last clarifying card, and I'm going to use the Mother Peace Tarot, and I'm going to read from the book because I like what she says. It's by Karen Vogel, who is a great artist and writer. So let's just get one final message. I don't know if you can hear the cicadas and crickets out there. Okay, we got 9 of Wands to the right. At least for me, it looked like it was to the right. Let's just Bear with me for 1 second. Okay, we got, she needs to be sure not give out more than she can handle and still have enough to be able to regenerate her own energy. So there's a lot on those cards about regeneration and regenerating. Because Scorpio is this, we had things in Pluto in the 9th house, which is about transformation. It's also the house of sex and money and death, which I think a lot of artists have made work about those 3 things being related. We also got the number 9 again, which I feel like is just, we already had 9 several times. And we are in a Virgo season right now, and number 9 is Hermit in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. And I went off on this whole spiel about Jupiter. Jupiter is also expansion. So I feel like something about going inside right now is going to help you expand on the outside. Sorry, there's a weird car horn going by. I guess that's the universe saying yes, yes. So we're in Virgo season. We have Virgo Moon, Virgo Sun, Virgo Mercury, Virgo Venus, I believe. Still, all those things. If I'm wrong, that's sorry. Basically, it's going to bring like a criticality to how we are viewing our whole life in every capacity, and we're focusing on our health, our career, our body, our house. But also, Virgo is a really perceptive sign, and it's sort of like I feel like every sign has a way of turning things into art, or they have an art, and I feel like Virgo is a sign, like they make great actors or nurses because they're very like perceptive. Like they could go into a room and read the room based on like facial expressions or mannerisms. So imagine being someone like that who's always picking up on all the imperfections or all the differences in this sort of analytical way and categorizing it. That's how we're coming towards our lives right now. Yeah, so something about restructuring our lives has to do with going inward, as a hermit would. And it's also an ending of something. We're also, I believe, something with Saturn is like ending a transit right now that's major. And also we just had a Virgo new moon, and actually in November there's going to be the end of a transit interaction happening between Taurus and Uranus, where things since March have been erratic. You may have had some, because Uranus is the erratic sign, on that planet. There's just bolts of lightning randomly. So it's like bolts of insight is how you can think of Aquarians or about Uranus. Anyway, so that planet and Taurus. Oh my god, I'm totally blanking on what planet Taurus is. But anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'll write it below. Sometimes I just get these blanks when I'm talking on this thing. But anyway, so that's our income and our well-being in the physical plane. So that you may have had erratic sources of income, or inconsistent income, or strange sources of income, unusual. So yeah, this is going to be wrapping up in November or late October. So you might find a more increased stability, and it makes sense because we're at the end of, we're starting Virgo, so this is the time we're categorizing, we're analyzing our lives, and we're trying to sort it out in an organized way. Yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and have a great day.